We're going to be coding in Python today. Python syntax for noobs. Variables and data types. Variables are used to store information. You can store numbers, text, or true-false values. Python automatically figures out the data type based on what you assign. For example, x equals 5 creates an integer, while Bob creates a string. Data types exist in Python, but are not explicitly written out like other programming languages. You don't need to put int or char in front of this code. Python interprets this for you. Comments are nodes in your code that Python ignores. They help explain what your code does. Use the hash symbol for single line comments, or triple quotes for longer multi-line comments. Printing. The print function displays output on the screen. You can print text, numbers, or even multiple items at once, separated by commas. You can also use an F string to write text and then print a value as well. In this example, I just put X in curly braces. Running this program gives us the following output. Data structures. Python comes with built-in data structures. A list stores ordered items like a list of groceries. Tuples are similar to a list but are immutable. For example, you can add an item to a list using the append function, but this can't be done with a tuple. Dictionaries store key-value pairs. In this example, name corresponds to Bob, and age corresponds to the number 25. A set holds unique items without duplicates. Conditionals. Conditional statements let your code make decisions. In this example, if we have if, elif, and else. If the if statement is true, then only the code below that one if statement executes, and the elif and else statements are not even considered. If we replaced our elif with if, then Python would evaluate each condition sequentially, and even if the first if statement is true, it would still go through and evaluate the second if statement as well. Loops. Loops let you repeat actions. A for loop goes through each item in a list or range. If I have a list of fruits, I could type for fruit in fruits, and then sequentially print out the fruits in the list. I can also use a for loop without a list using the range function. If I type for I in range 5, print I, this code will count from 0 to 4 and print out each of those values. You can also use range start stop step in order to have a more controlled for loop. A while loop keeps running as long as a condition is true. They're great for automation and repetitive tasks. In this example, while count is less than 5, we are going to print count and increment it. We will continue to increment count and print it until the while count is less than 5 statement is not true. Functions. Functions are reusable blocks of code. You define them once using the keyword def, and then you can call them anytime. The anatomy of a function is def, name of the function, parameters, colon, and then the block of code underneath. Classes. Python is an object-oriented language, so you can create a class. A class allows you to create an object where you can define attributes and behaviors inside. In this example, we create a person class, and we have a number of attributes associated with the person object, such as a name and age. We can then create a greet function in the class, create a person, and call the greet function. Exception handling. Sometimes errors happen. Python gives you a way to handle them using try, except, and finally. You can catch specific errors and make sure your program doesn't crash unexpectedly. This is just a way for your program to exit more gracefully if an error is encountered. Libraries. Python has a huge standard library. You can import modules like math for math operations or use random for randomness. This lets you use other people's code without writing everything from scratch. This is actually one of the reasons Python is so popular. Even business bros can write Python because they just import somebody else's functions for stats, math, or even GUIs and AI capabilities.